and you feel all right about it.
It's always there for you when you're down,
when you need
when
it.
you're happy, when you're sad. It's so good. It's always there.
Go down and look at, just admire your cock all the time. It's just,
Yep.
My favorite part about cock is being able to see all the other boys' cocks, and then even some girls have cocks too.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
Like Matt's girlfriend.
My girlfriend does have a pretty big cock. I'm not gonna lie.
Great cock.
I've seen it.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
As here's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
But it ain't about how hard you hit.
Hit out the park, no question, with all due respect.
It's about how hard you can get hit.
And you might need, at some point in your life, a little massage on your ass.
They keep moving forward. How much you can take, they keep moving forward.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Spartan Boys edition of the Moving Forward podcast. We're joined again by Matt Maurer, Clayton Andrews, and of course, Nate Robbins. So yeah, it's the Spartan Boys again. We're back. No better way to preview college football here in a couple of minutes than having a bunch of non-biased Michigan State alumni talk about the school they love the most and then the school they hate the most. So we'll definitely remain unbiased, right? There's no way we all don't take Rutgers as a mortal lock this week, correct?
Would never dream of it.
No. Would never dream of it in a billion years. So we started the podcast off a really, really fun way last week. And I think that this is a really, really fun way to start the week again. I texted all the boys beforehand. I want to give a shout out to Claire, Matt's girlfriend and a close friend of all of us. She came up with this idea. I texted her and said, any good podcast ideas? She said, truth or drink. Every time that you refuse to drink, every time you refuse to answer a question, you got to drink twice. We'll all go. I'm doing 3 questions for each thing. So, all right, we're going to start right here. What is the most shallow reason for not going on a second date, for a second date that you've gone on to? So you had a first date with somebody. What is the most shallow reason you've declined to go on a second date? If you don't want to answer the question, you may drink twice. If you'd like to answer the question and give a story, then I'm all ears. Nate, would you like to answer the question?
I'm thinking right now, the only one that comes directly to mind, I mean, it's not that shallow. I guess I'll answer. I went on a date recently. Now that I moved to Detroit, I kind of been chilling. Don't really have much going on. I've made a few friends, but anyways, I was trying to make some friends outside of the law school, and met this girl on Bumble and went on a date with her. And I didn't go on a second date with her because I judged her really hard on the college that she went to.
Oh,
it made me think that she might be really dumb. And I felt a little bad about it, but my theory was proven by the date. She was not an intelligent specimen. So that's very shallow. It doesn't put me in the greatest light, but I just can't sit there and have a conversation with someone that's so unintelligent. Like, I'm not going to judge anybody for not going to an awesome school or anything, but you can kind of get a feeling if somebody's like so goddamn like dull because they can't think through how to make a good conversation. So I extrapolated that to her intelligence and applied that to refuse a second date, which I felt a little shallow about. But that's the most recent one that I can think of.
Okay. Matt, would you like to answer the question?
Wait, before Matt goes, Nate, what college did she go to?
That's the thing. I don't even remember the name of it. It was some tiny little school in like college in Rochester, and she was going to the nursing program there. I legit don't remember the name of the college. It was so small. And so it's like an initial judgment. I was like, well, let's see how it goes. Like she could just be doing her own thing. No, she's very, very unintelligent.
I'll bet.
Okay, Matt.
Let's see. This is a good question. I don't really know anything that's like, at least from personal experience, that's like something
drink twice.
Shallow. So I'll drink twice, and I'll give my answer as if they go to the rival school of U of M, then they can fuck off.
Oh, that's not shallow. That's just appropriate.
No, that's a absolute best way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it even, quick question before we move on with this, is it even worse if they root for U of M and they didn't go there? I feel like that's even worse.
I think you might be right about that one.
Yeah, I think it's worse. I think it's by far worse.
Because at least if they go there, then like,
They're probably at least intelligent.
yeah, no, you definitely know they're like a smart person or they got a little more something going for them, even though they still suck. But
All right. I'll go with my answer and I will definitely tell the story. I've told this story. This is I was also thinking of the question, the worst date you've been on. This ties into two things. So we've all gone through a phase where we've either tried to date on Bumble or on Tinder. And I matched with a girl who looked very attractive. And then when I went out with her, it did not look the same. She also smelled, I said it smelled of cat urine is what I said. So she smelled really bad. And then she goes on to tell me throughout the date, she can't hold a conversation. I'm trying to do all the talking. I already know there's not going to be a second date, but why ruin the night, you know? So,
Yeah.
and then she later tells me how she is currently kind of on the run from the police from some altercation she had with some friends and some guy. So it's easy to say that that's not a shallow reason why not for going on a date. I was going to say the shallow reason is for a person not smelling good. Like, I feel like it's a very basic thing to do, at least on a date, is to smell good. You didn't smell good, but the whole story altogether, like this is the only bad date I've ever been on in my entire life. At least first date. It was the only one and it was awful.
I remember so vividly when you came back that night after that day. One of the hardest laughs I've ever had was you breaking that evening. I remember that so
The
well.
that's
only-
something straight out of a storybook.
Yeah, the only good part is we went to go see the movie. I think it was either Us or Get Out. Was it Us? I think it's Us. We saw Us in theaters and it was an awesome movie. So that's about it.
It was,
that was the only
wait, what
plus
year
part.
was it? It was probably Get Out.
It was sophomore year of college.
Oh yeah, that's probably Get Out.
One or the other. It was one of the
Yeah,
Key
yeah.
and Peele movies. All right. Clayton, you?
At first I was trying to think, and I didn't think that I had like ever denied a second date. Well, I've never just like flat out denied one, but I've just like started like casually ghosting. But I just remembered there was one I went on. Nothing went wrong with the date, but she had like a gap in between her front two teeth.
Ooh.
And I don't know, it sounds horrible, but like I couldn't stop looking at it. And it like stuck with me. And super nice girl, but like that was like the one thing from the date that like stuck with me. And then I was like, I don't think I could sit across from, I don't know, this person again. Because I felt so bad. I was like, I'm just staring. I couldn't stop. I don't know why. Because a lot of people have that issue. I don't know. I feel like a dick now saying that out loud, but
No.
See, Jake came off the best here just because, well, I guess Matt didn't have one, but Jake's date just smelled real bad, which is totally fair. I mean, like,
It's just such a small thing. You just have to just
no,
smell
I
good.
know. Yeah. And yeah, I definitely feel like an ass.
How we can do?
All right. Moving on to the next one. So we're going to ramp up the kind of intensity of these questions as they go on.
Ooh.
Have you ever had a one night stand with a person that you regretted it, and why did you regret it? You may drink twice, or you may tell a story. Obviously, don't go into detail, no names, but yeah, anything to share. I will personally say that I have never been on a one night stand that I have I've regretted. So I'll just go with a solid 2 drinks. I can't think of anything that comes to mind that I've just absolutely been like looking myself in the mirror and said, you bastard. Why? So I'll do 2 drinks. Hands up on that one.
Yep, I'm with Jake on this one. I don't know. I never saw a reason to regret anything. So
I don't think I can share a story.
Ah, come on.
Oh, come on.
No,
You don't have to go full detail.
Yeah, just be vague.
I'll be vague, and it's not like this person would never find out. But one time,
Hey, this podcast is going to get big.
Well, no. Just I mean, like,
That was
like
rude, Nate.
this girl would never be interested in like anyways, and I don't have her on any socials or anything, so I'm not worried about. Anyways,
Okay.
it was another Tinder. It was another Tinder match that I ended up having a one night stand with. That was it was bad. And also, I mentioned it before. I was like, I think this girl is like catfishing through good images of herself, and it's going to be a lot worse when I see her in person. And I was 100% right. And so that was a big regret. Yeah, that was very disappointing. I guess
Clayton.
that's not like brutal, but like that's about all I can.
Yeah, mine wasn't that tough. It was just it was freshman year, and like it was somebody who lived in the same dorm, and then it was mediocre at best, like what else would you expect out of a dorm?
So much mobility.
Yeah, I'm 6'3", it's a lofted bed, like
Dude, there has been many
Yeah,
times where I've just woken up in those lofted beds and I just fucking smack my forehead on the ceiling.
So all those details, and then I was like, woke up the next morning, I was like, wow, that sucked, but it's whatever. And I hadn't thought about the fact that I would have to, this happened in like the fall, that I would have to go to the calf like every day
No.
and like see that same person, like Holmes calf was, and it was like old fashioned where you'd have to like get in line to get your food. Like you couldn't like pick and choose your spots. It was just like once, and had to live
Whoa.
that. Yeah,
Tragic.
that wasn't great, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink for that because it was kind of weak, but
Yeah, I'm drinking for mine too because mine was pretty weak as well.
Okay. All right. The very last one. It's not a weird one, but everyone has to give an answer. No cop outs. What is an oddly specific turnoff that is an automatic red flag? You cannot date a woman. Something really weird, not like, oh, she's ugly or she smells bad. What is something that is a oddish turnoff that just automatically is a red flag? Like, I can't do this.
gap in the front teeth.
That's not a bad one.
Fair.
That's not a bad one at all.
Is this odd? Yeah, this is pretty odd. Dry skin.
Ooh.
You talk like so like you wouldn't know until obviously you went on a date, but if like you went and like happened to like embrace or hold a hand or whatever, and you feel like some dry skin, that shit drives me crazy. Like,
yeah,
can't stand that.
No, for sure. Mine's going to be. I've been seeing it a lot on Twitter this week. That's why it's very prominent in my head. But way too long of fake nails. If women want to have fake nails, if they like long acrylic nails, more power to you. I just don't know. It's a weird thing. I'm fine with like a little bit, but when they're like the super long ones, they just freak me out. Like it's something that I've seen in the Guinness Book of World Records for the person with the longest growing fingernails. It
can't be practical at all.
Yeah, it can't be practical.
Away all the time.
Crazy about those long acrylics is that I always feel like I see secretaries or receptionists with really long acrylics, like at like any given.
Type on a computer all day. That's
like, how do you type on how do you work a job with those? Like, what do you?
Impressive.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's impressive. It might just be stupid.
All right, Matt, last one. Wrap us up.
I don't know. I guess personally, like the shave, like when they shave their head a lot or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, like short hair?
For me,
oh,
personally, at least, is not.
Okay, that's
not
fair.
my go-to. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are good with it, of course.
What about when if she sheds like a dog?
Yeah. What about that?
Oh no,
that's a turn on.
Matt loves it. He can't get enough.
All right,
that will find it all over the place, and then they try to wrap it around you and tie it on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's the best.
Utilize it in the bedroom.
I'll have to.
All right, I'm stopping this segment.
All
right,
it's getting good.
Yeah, now it's getting real good now. All right, let's move on. Let's preview the boys. Let's move to college football. We'll do college football first. Let's open. We already recapped Michigan State and Miami. So if you guys want to give a couple of thoughts while talking about your Michigan State pick, you're more than welcome to. But let's move on. Let's talk about Michigan State, Nebraska, 7:00 in East Lansing this week. I will be in attendance for this game. Really excited. First time seeing the boys play this year in person. So Really excited for that. They're -5 at home against Nebraska. I'll start. I'm really scared about this -5. They haven't given me a reason to doubt them yet. They looked awesome against Miami. I just feel like this is an odd trap game against Nebraska where we might have overreacted to how bad they were at the beginning of the year. They've kind of found a middle ground now. I think they win the game. I feel pretty confident in it, but I'm scared about the -5. I feel like this could be a close Big Ten slugfest.
Yeah, absolutely. Trap game's the perfect term. What was the stat? I just pulled it up that Clay showed us off Twitter today. It was Michigan State is 1-12 against the spread with 4 outright losses in the last 13 games as a home favorite. And Jake made a very good point in response to this text that this is not Mel Tucker era statistics.
The only one win as a home favorite was against Youngstown State, which they are 1-0 under Mel Tucker.
Yeah, so they're
every home game they had last year, they were an underdog because they were garbage.
Yeah, so they're 0-12 before. Anyways, so take that stat as you will. I still am going to keep riding this team until it doesn't work anymore. But I agree, 5 points it feels a little dangerous. But man, like it's so hard to ignore how dynamic this offense has looked. And if it looks that good against a Miami team that actually, I thought the front on that Miami defense looked a lot better than I was expecting. And then I thought the adjustments that we made to just kind of dominate them going later into the game and work around kind of that front four being solid, I thought it was really good, and I'm going to keep riding it. So I'm definitely taking the -5. But I agree, it's the most scared I've felt so far about the MSU spreads.
Yeah,
it's a stripe the stadium. So I mean, it's a
pack
big
the
game.
woodshed.
Everyone's going crazy for it. So I mean, like last year, whatever was pretty much ride the under because we couldn't score points until we were showed wrong this year. It's a whole new team. I say you ride them as long as you can until again they show you wrong. I mean, they've looked so good the last couple of weeks. So I also have no reason to doubt them yet. So I'm riding the -5 right now.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker is zaddy. He's not even daddy anymore. He's zaddy. He's so good. He makes this mediocre offensive line look better than they should be.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's absolutely the best. And we just have so many good playmakers on the outside. And the corners in the second half of the game against Miami looked really good. They were real bad in the first half. And credit to the defensive coaching staff. They made a lot of adjustments the way that they played the passing downs. Like the run defense has been good for Michigan State for a while, but it's been a minute since we've seen some pretty good defensive secondary play, probably since Darquez and Trey Waynes and everything. And we get a couple of good players like Josiah Scott and Justin Lanes in between, but we haven't seen, them in a while, like a dominant performance. And that second half against Miami was a dominant performance. Clayton, your thoughts on MSU and Rutgers before we move on to or MSU and Nebraska before we move on to Rutgers and Michigan?
I'm in the same boat. I'm gonna ride until they fail me. But it's incredibly scary. Nebraska played a close one with Oklahoma last week, and people were saying,
who I think are frauds. I think Oklahoma's a fraud, if that helps.
Do you? Or
Yeah, I do.
is Nebraska actually good?
I think Nebraska's not as bad as people think, and I think Oklahoma's not as good as people think.
Yeah.
Also, like, I put more stock. I don't know if I should because, like, it was last week that Oklahoma game was, but I put a lot of stock in that loss against Illinois. Illinois has been awful.
Yeah, it's
since
been pretty bad.
I mean, they've been really, really bad. And so I maybe it's the wrong call to put more stock in that than the close game you played against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But like, starting your season out with a loss to an Illinois team that they've now lost 3 in a row, correct?
They won their game last week, I think.
Oh, did they? Okay. So anyways, but I think that's important for sure that they lost the game.
I don't know if the offense can keep doing their thing, getting Kenneth Walker over 100 yards a game. And then Peyton Thorne showing that he can actually be good.
Yeah, he just needs to be a game manager, really, for this team to be successful.
Yeah. I mean, if Kenneth Walker breaks one decent chunk run, then it opens up Peyton Thorne a ton, honestly. And he just won QB of the week last week, I believe.
Yeah, Big Ten Player of the Week.
Yep.
No, he won something else.
Oh, really?
Award, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's been solid. He's done exactly what we needed.
Was he like Tom Brady? Did he win the Nickelodeon's MVP trophy?
No, it wasn't that. Oh God. How do you spell? Is it AY or EY?
It's
A
A1.
AY.
Shit.
It's okay. We'll take your word for it, Clayton. He won an award.
No, yeah, I'm gonna find it. You guys can keep
Okay.
plugging along.
All right. While Clayton looks, let's move on to Rutgers and Michigan. So our fighting Rocky Lombardis didn't do too well against Michigan last week. They proved that they're very dominant. They've been running the ball really well against teams, but I keep picking their team they go against in the points. But I think a 3-0 Rutgers team who's looked pretty decent. I think 20 points is just too much. I do think Michigan wins, but I think Rutgers keeps it respectable. Maybe a 10-point loss. I like Michigan to win, but I like Rutgers plus 20. They've been 3-0 in their spreads in the first 3 games, and I think that they go 4-0. So I'm going to go with Rutgers plus 20. Michigan's looked impressive. They run the ball down people's throat. Not the most impressed with McNamara, and their defense isn't the best. I just think Northern Illinois was really, really bad.
Okay, let me jump in real quick before we get too deep into this. He won the Manning Award, quarterback of the week.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. I guess I'll just keep going off Jake. I kind of like Michigan minus 20.5. I think they're good. I think they're actually solid. And I think, it's Rutgers, but I don't know. It's scary. It's another one of those scary lines where is it at Michigan?
Yes, it's at Michigan.
Are they just going to only play home games this year?
Well, they play at Wisconsin next week, so that's a tough game.
Oh, that'll be a really tough game.
Jake, you bring up Rutgers is 3-0 against the spread, and they've been great so far against the spread, obviously.
Don't tell me what their teams are. I know who they've played.
but
they've played bad teams.
But U of M is also 3-0 against the spread. And U of M, my whole thing with U of M is that I don't feel like we're going to know what kind of team they are probably until next week when they play Wisconsin. And they likely aren't able to just absolutely gash with the run. The run game is going to be good against any defense, but the thing with the run game so far is it's been tearing up terrible defenses, defenses that are just clearly inferior to that offensive line. I think this Rutgers front is the same way. I think it's inferior to that offensive line by a wide margin. So I also like the minus 20.5. As much as it might hurt me to say, I mean it's still Rutgers, and Michigan's look damn impressive in quorum.
They've looked really solid against bad teams is my thing. And I think Rutgers is bad.
I think Rutgers is average. But
not bad, but like mediocre. And I think that if Michigan just gets ahead of steam in that first half, it's just going to snowball.
Yeah, okay. I think Michigan just wants to run the score up in every game they play, no matter who they play. They're just
they're going to have to, with the college football playoff being so wide open this year, last year 4 teams, and there being so many good Big Ten teams this year, they really have to make their wins look impressive. Yeah. So I do agree that if they are winning, I think they're not going to let up. They're going to keep running the score up like they did against Northern Illinois.
Yeah. I think that same sort of thing's going to happen, as much as it pains me to say. I think
so. I'm the only one here on Rutgers plus 20.5.
Yeah, and
it'd be great if I lost my bet and Rutgers won.
I'll be rooting against it, but
but it just feels like doesn't this U of M team, like I feel like I haven't seen like a U of M team play with like this much edge. Like they feel like kind of pissed off when you walk on the field, like when you see them
they kind of have an attitude.
They're physical, like I don't know. They just kind of have that kind of energy around them, and I don't relish things, but it's been really impressive to see like how down they've been up front.
They don't play like they've got the Harbaugh ego, you know what I mean? It kind of has felt like they've walked into every season super pretentious and whatnot, and they don't really have that same feeling this year, as much as it hurts me to say.
Does hurt me to say. Let's get into our locks of the week. Let's go around real quick. My lock hit, Cincinnati hit. Matt's, yours pushed, correct? You took Iowa. Clayton, what was your college football lock last week?
Penn State -5.
That hit too. And then Nate, you lost yours, correct? You went 0. So it looks like we went as a podcast 2-1-1. So that's winning money.
There we go.
So good job, boys. All right, let's start it off this week. Arkansas has had an impressive season so far, but I do like Texas A&M. I think they're legit in the SEC. So I do like Texas A&M at Jerry's World to cover -4.5. So my lock this week for the college part of this pick'em will be Texas A&M -4.5 against Arkansas.
Love that pick. I think they're.
Oops, sorry. Just go ahead, Nate.
No, I was just saying I think they're underrated. I think it's smart.
You guys are gonna hate this one then, because I have Arkansas plus 4.5.
Oh
No way, really?
I think Arkansas is underrated. They've got a really good pair of backs on their offense. A lot of hype around them. I think they've been playing pretty good this year. They're kind of a dark horse team in terms of like media coverage and whatnot. But I don't know. I think 4.5. It's sneaky coming in as dogs. Got something to prove against the Texas Tech team. You know, they're good, they're solid, but also so is Arkansas. I feel like if they come in with a chip off their shoulder or on their shoulder,
yeah, I agree.
They at least cover, lose by a field goal. You know.
Oh, that'd be tough. That'd be a tough one. All right, Matt, what is your lock for college football?
So my lock from college football comes from an Instagram post that I saw earlier today with a team that had kind of cool jerseys because I couldn't think of a pick that I really liked, but I really like these uniforms. That being said, I'm taking Louisville minus 1.5 against Florida State.
Sweet.
Ooh, that Louisville quarterback's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's very true.
They like to put
really
up points.
But also Florida State's kind of sneaky.
Hey, you never know. Sometimes you just get a little itching and you gotta go for it.
Yeah, no, the dead coach game has come and passed. Florida State, they are now going out to pasture. They're bad.
They've had time to mourn. They've had time to mourn.
Yes, their mourning period is over. It worked for 1 week against Notre Dame.
What stage of grief are they in? Are they in denial?
No, they're circling.
Right now, denials.
Oh, they're on the edge of acceptance.
Yeah, they're circling.
It'll be acceptance after this week.
That's tough.
They were in vengeance against Notre Dame, and now they're circling to acceptance against Louisville.
Yep.
Okay, that just leaves me. I have Clemson this week against NC State. Clemson, Ugule, he's not looked good. He's been bad.
No.
I understand why you could be like worried about Clemson. I think this spread it's at -10 right now. I think it's down that way for two reasons. First, NC State's home. Second, that 14-8 win over Georgia Tech last week. I am throwing that out of the window. I don't know if any of you guys watched parts of that game. That Georgia Tech team played as fast as I've seen any defense play, like in my history of watching college football. They looked absolutely incredible. I think it was just like a bit of a rivalry thing. It feels like they just came in with a lot more energy than Clemson did, and that's why it was a closer game. The Georgia loss, I think Georgia's just better, but this is just not enough points against an NC State team that does not get to the quarterback, and the run game has made up for Ukulele being not great. I mean, Clemson has 3 backs that are averaging over 4.8 yards per carry, and all 3 of those backs have over 10 carries this season, with 2 of them with over 50. So they've had a really good run game. I think the NC State team's bad. The stats for the front four don't look great, and I think Clemson's able to just put this thing away.
Okay.
I'm going to put an asterisk next to my picks. Just, I didn't do a ton of research this week.
Okay.
But the gut's feeling good, so we'll ride it.
Yeah. Okay. So now you're just making up excuses for when my
no excuses. I'll accept my losses, but they're just straight instinct picks.
Those are probably better. I think overthinking might be the worst possible thing to do.
Yeah, I did all this research and looking into it. That probably means I'm missing.
All right. So to wrap,
a lot of research for my pick.
Oh yeah. Well, Matt is.
I like your pick, Matt. Jersey picks are always solid.
Yep.
The only thing better than a jersey pick is a dead coach or dead mascot game. So
yeah.
The only thing. All right. To end our college football segment, it looks like we're all taking MSU because we're homers. I'm the only one taking Rutgers plus 20 because I believe in Greg Schiano. He is the Schiano man. And as far as the lock segment, I took Texas A&M minus 4.5. Clayton going right against me with Arkansas plus 4.5. Nate with Clemson minus 10 against NC State. And Matt is taking Louisville minus 1.5 against Florida State. So yeah, we'll see how we can do. We went 2-1-1 as a podcast last week. Let's see how we do next week. Now let's transition into our love-hate category for the day. Do any of you guys have a great love? Who wants to start us off?
I actually have a love I'm pretty excited about this week. My love is the NBA, and it really is starting to feel like it's back. And I am so excited. I love the football talk. I love the NFL. I love college football, that stuff. My one true passion in sports is the NBA. It always has been. And just like with training camp starting, the Simmons holdout, the GM for the Timberwolves today getting fired, Rosas. It just feels like we're back. We're kind of churning back into the NBA scape, and there's a lot more news coming out. I'm excited. This 75 for 75 coming out soon. The 75 best players in the history of the NBA for the 75th anniversary is coming out. I'm just excited by all of it. I can't wait for the NBA to start. And I know we're right in the start of basketball season, but I can't help let some of my attention drift towards basketball and just my excitement for the season. So I'm really excited about that. I love the NBA, and I love to see some sports media coverage more than you see in the kind of dead period that we've had over the last couple months.
No, I 100% agree with you. NBA has always been my favorite. Basketball has always been my favorite, as much as I love football, but it's coming soon and I feel it. And I've never been more excited for a Pistons season, I don't think, ever in my entire life. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited for the Lakers and everything the NBA has to offer. And there's so many new faces and so many new teams, and just really excited for the year. Like, and love the NBA.
This Simmons holdout is about to be like one of the cooler storylines I think we've had in a while. Like, obviously the Harden one was semi-similar, but there was just a lot of Harden slander, and and there's a lot of Simmons slander, I know, but I feel like once Simmons gets to a new team, like, we're gonna see a whole different landscape. And I don't hate Simmons by any means, so I'm excited to see what happens there. There's just a lot of cool storylines that are starting to develop, and I expect more to come in like the next couple of weeks, which is super exciting.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on. Matt, what is your love this week?
So my love for the week is his cock. It's been growing for a long time recently, or not recently, for a long time. It's been growing. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's kind of impressive, I'm not gonna lie, but it's fun. All my friends get to look at it all the time. I get to battle with it. It's pretty cool. Clash of Clans is it's just so great. I love everything about it. I wish more people played, but that's my love for the week. I just really getting back into it recently.
That's a great love.
Some of us never left, Matt. Some people have been in for a while now, trying to get their way to the top.
Yeah.
Oh, you got some ways to go.
I'm
Clash
working.
of Clans will never fail to be solid. You could put that as a love every week, and you feel all right about it.
It's always there for you when you're down,
when you need
when
it.
you're happy, when you're sad. It's so good. It's always there.
Go down and look at, just admire your cock all the time. It's just
My favorite part about cock is being able to see all the other boys' cocks, and then even some girls have cocks too.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
Like Matt's girlfriend.
My girlfriend does have a pretty big cock. I'm not gonna lie.
Great cock.
I've seen it.
I know Nate and Jake's seen it.
Yeah, we're all in a big group and we just stare at it.
We stare at it all the time. I take my eyes off it.
All right, moving on to my love. On the Tuesday's episode of the podcast, or whatever day it released, would have been Wednesday. But when we were recording Tuesday, I was complaining about how there was no sitting and how I couldn't sit at my job because I'm in a different location and they don't have any chairs at this one. And it's worker cruelty, whatever. But my love is now, because of that compromise of 20 hours a week of sadness, I now get Fridays off of work. And I couldn't be more excited to have a full Friday. I have a bunch of chores that are actually enjoyable for me to do tomorrow that I'm going to check off a list. So yeah, my love this week is getting Fridays off. I got the 3-day weekend all the time now, baby. I love it.
Oh, 3-day weekends are bliss.
That's great news. And there's nothing better than when you have those free Fridays and you actually do something productive with them. Like you said, you get that checklist for some chores tomorrow. You just feel so good about it. It's really a great feeling when you're productive in your free time. It feels way better than being productive in time that, you're scheduled to be productive.
Yeah, for sure. It's just when I'm doing things on my own free time, it's like, I'm just doing so much. But when I'm doing stuff, when I should be doing a lot of stuff, I'm doing nothing,
That's a great way to put it.
It's so insightful.
Very.
All right. Who wants to go next?
Clay?
Oh yeah, I guess I'm the only one that hasn't gone. Mine is camping trips. The boys minus Jake are going camping this weekend. It's gonna be a great time watching the Michigan State game at a bar. We went to a bar when we went up to the spot last time called Black Rocks Brewery, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nate and I got this like 11.5% dark. Oh, it was so good.
Aged in bourbon, baby.
Yeah, it was so good. So I can't wait to go back up there. It'll be a fun time. I'm going to also transition this into my hate. Can I do that, Jacob?
Oh, yes, please. I love a good transition.
Okay. My hate is cold September rain because the last week's been fucking miserable. It's just gray and rainy and cold all day, every day. And the one day that's going to be nice and 70 out, we are going to spend the entire day in the car. And then once we finally get to our destination,
it's going to rain again.
It'll be nice that evening. And then the one full day we get to spend there is going to be 58 degrees and rainy all day. So that's a little tough, but you know,
Might have been a little more
power through it.
good.
Yeah.
You know what I like about that love-hate combo is the love still is going to outweigh the hate, but it's important to it's important to acknowledge a little bit of hate that we might have there.
All about the adventure.
Little speed bumps, but
yeah. Does anyone else have a hate that they want to share? Share with
So
us.
my hate for the week, in fact, actually happens to be weekly shows. So a show that comes out once a week because I hate waiting all week to watch a show, especially because I always end on a cliffhanger, and nothing grinds my gears more than having to wait so much because I love to just binge watch shows. So I can't stand it. Can't stand it.
What show is this in reference to? Anything in particular?
Not really. No.
Just general. Okay, that's fair. No.
I've been watching a lot of shows that have only been coming out weekly that I've absolutely been loving. Ted Lasso, weekly, love it. Morning Show, weekly, love it. Only Murderers in the Building, Hulu original show, very good. Comes out weekly, love it. What If comes out weekly, and I love it. And then also The Bachelor. The Bachelor in Paradise has been. I'll piggyback off Matt. This season of Bachelor in Paradise has been the best season of Bachelor in Paradise by far. The drama is insane. These people who've been locked inside for all this time are just horny as hell, and I love it. It's been so good. But I hate that it only comes out. It was twice a week, and then they cut it down to once a week, and I'm sad about it.
There's just always a Bachelor on TV.
Yeah.
They're just rotating through.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to run out of people. They're going to run out of attractive people.
Yeah, there's only so many beautiful people on this planet.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already recycled basically every single one of them 3 times over.
Yeah. I don't know.
So my hate for this week is idiots. When you work at a job and there's a lot of people who come in and out of your store and there's a lot of traffic, you realize that there are more people who are idiots than not idiots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you don't think in the world there are so many odd characters who you just pick up on their weird, subtle nuances that annoy you, or something where they're really, really weird, like those kind of things. But I feel like I deal with at least 20 of them every day working. And I don't know if it's anybody else, but there are way more weird people than I thought there were.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Getting these little echo chambers of people that you like and that you're like used to and that you know aren't weird and like idiots. And then when you go out and like you start doing some stuff outside of that group, like post-graduation, kind of like how we're doing, you really start realizing exactly.
Like, I hate everyone else.
It's awful. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Couldn't we just stay in college forever? I don't know. Why does this have to?
The things I would do.
The things I would do. All right, Nate.
My hate this week, it's nothing crazy, but I think everybody knows I hate internet service providers. I have had a major internet problem at my apartment since starting last Saturday, and there's been 3 different technicians out to my apartment. Nobody has completely resolved the problem. Today, the guy that came in gave me a temporary fix where I can at least hook up to my Wi-Fi, but there still needs to be like another guy that has to come out and work and like bust out my wall, I guess, and reinstall some fiber optic cables. And I have been on the phone with AT&T for far too many minutes for this week for my liking. I'm a pretty busy guy these days. And
Nate, you need to change your weight instead of even having internet. The thing even worse is waiting on the phone, like having the waiting noise or whatever. What am I looking for? Being put on hold.
Yeah,
that should be your hate.
No,
yeah,
I
that
think
encompass in the entirety of it because you got to deal with people like customer service reps that don't understand your situation. You got to deal with the waiting period, and you got to deal with a technician that doesn't completely understand your situation because it's a giant company and they don't communicate it well. It's been a nightmare. It's been a mess. I'm glad to have at least internet back right now, but I've been running all my online stuff this week in my apartment off a mobile hotspot, and it has been ass to say the least.
Yeah, I've been doing because I've been getting 2 to 3 phone calls a week or a day, sorry, from a toll-free number. And finally I Googled it the other day. And it's a Comcast number, and we had Xfinity internet last year. Yep. And every time I pick it up, it's just nothing. Like no answer on the other line.
What the
heck? Why the hell is Comcast calling me and then not saying anything? No, yeah, they're the worst.
It's just them like slowly breathing into the phone, like
no, and then they eventually just hang up. I'm like, hello, and then they hang up.
These companies are incredibly inefficient, and it's incredible how profitable they are able to be.
Well, yeah,
efficient because of just how bad we need their service.
Yeah. And they prey on people like you where you don't have service, you paying for it, and then they yank your cock for 4 days trying to get it fixed. And
yeah, mind you, today I also got an email after the third technician came out in the past 4 days. And the email was to notify me that my bill was successfully paid. So I'm really happy to send them my
got good news.
Despite not having internet for the past week and having to deal with layers.
They're the worst. We dealt with a situation like that earlier this year too.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Where they wouldn't fix it, and we were like, well, we're just gonna cancel. So yeah, they're like, oh well, we could give you $20 off your next bill. And it's like, well, I'm paying $130 a month for this.
Meanwhile, all of our school is online, so
that's
which makes
like, sorry, our technicians are just super booked. It's looking like it'll be a week before we can get one out to you. It's like, well, I'm sure. Every time a technician comes over, they either say, well, I don't really know what the issue is, or they fix it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Really shouldn't take that long.
Really shouldn't. All right. Good love, hate, everybody. Let's move on to the NFL in our Pick'em segment. So far, I am 5-6 on the year, batting a little less than 50%. Mike, who hasn't been on the podcast for the Pick'em segment since the first week, he's 3-3. Matt with a killer 4-1 last week against the spread. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. And then both Clay and Nate going 3-2. So we'll have our lock at the end. But first, let's do the Pick'em. Let's start with our Detroit Lions, who got mollywopped after giving a decent first half performance and then the shittiest second half performance I've ever seen. They play the Ravens at home. The Ravens are -8.5. Nate, take us away. Who you got with this game?
All right, I'm gonna do something that's probably not intelligent. We just saw a great Ravens win against the Chiefs. They looked electric and really strong. And the Lions look terrible. They look good I shouldn't say that. They look good in the first half, and then the defense just fell apart in the second half. Obviously, we have that fourth down that we don't convert, and then the fumble, and then it all spiraled away from there. Despite all that, I'm taking the Lions. I'm taking the points. I think the Ravens, if there is ever a week to overlook a game, it is the week after you beat the Kansas City Chiefs for the first time since they've had Patrick Mahomes, this rivalry that they've been developing, and then you go in and you play one of the probably worst 3 teams in the league. They're hovering right around that area. I think this is a great opportunity for the Ravens to overlook the game. The Lions have come out pissed off a little bit, hungry, just lost a rivalry game. And I think the Lions have a great chance to cover against a lot of points. I'm not saying they win. I just think it's going to be closer. I think the Ravens might have to pull out a solid fourth quarter if they come out weak in the first half.
I hate that everything you said just made sense to me. And for that exact reason, I'm going to go Ravens -8.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah. What you just said is so big brain that I think everyone knows that. So I think that means the Ravens are going to cover -8. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love the reverse psychology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just like my brain. I don't know if you guys know, but my brain is working at a different level right now than everyone else's brain.
That's
Let me pick
crazy.
up on that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tail Jake here. I think I
Fuck, I wanna
said it.
change my pick.
I was really very wrong last week saying that the Ravens were bad. They looked really good against the Chiefs. They were hanging in there even with Patrick Mahomes just throwing 60-yard touchdowns to his tight end and just basically doing anything at will on offense. And the Ravens hung in there. And got ballsy with a fourth down call in their own half in the fourth quarter with Patrick Mahomes sitting right there ready to, take the field again and win the game for him if they didn't convert it. That's guts. I like that. I like that in the team. I love my Lions, but I think that Lamar's confident right now. He's telling his coach that he can convert that fourth down. Looked good against the Chiefs, a good Chiefs defense too. Well, I guess I wouldn't say
It's solid.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think the Lions just suck.
Can I say one thing?
The Lions suck too much they can hang in. They showed against the Packers. They can hang in there for a minute, but then, once that little grace period's over, it's takeover time for the people who actually play football.
For sure. Can I add one thing though? And the clip was really cool of Harbaugh being like, Lamar, you want to go for it, Lamar? And then Lamar's like, of course. Imagine a situation where Lamar's like, no, I think we should try and coffin corner him, coach. We might want to punt this bitch. Like, in what planet is Lamar Jackson ever going to say no? Because it's
one where he knows good game flow.
My point is just that like, it's a cool clip. I like it, but just like, I feel like it got a little overhyped. Like, what is Lamar supposed to say? Like, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't believe myself right now. That was my only point.
I mean, I'll put on your foil hat with you too, because I think the idea of them even thinking about not going for it and just giving the ball back to Patrick Mahomes is already a stupid idea. So I don't already care. It doesn't matter who it matters who your opponent is. So in that particular case, if you're telling me you're playing the Chiefs or the Rams or the Buccaneers, yeah, you're going to go for it. But you're playing a team like the Jets or the Texans or the Lions, I wouldn't hate punting. It's not the worst idea.
Absolutely. It made sense in the flow of the game. And like I said, the clip was cool. It came off pretty dope, but like, they're obviously going for it. Like, that was my only point. I'll leave it at that.
All right, Matt, who are you taking?
So I'm also going to take the Ravens.
Oh, I feel really good about my pick now.
I think that the Chiefs are going to be super good all the time. And for the fact that the Ravens have come out and beat them, incredible. I think that the Raiders are, I don't know if they're overhyped or not right now, but they've looked really good recently. And the fact they had a super close game with them. So they're playing really good against these super good teams. And I mean, bottom line, Lions are shit. So I think that they're just going to, same thing, come out and mollywop them, especially in that second half.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the Lions will play a close game and then they'll give up like one dumbass Lion play, like a 60-yard, I don't know, something crazy.
You're 100% right.
And then from there, it'll just spiral downhill and just be awful.
Yep.
We are going to see more Derek Barnes minutes this week. So I'm really, really excited about that. Moving on to probably one of the best games of the week, but a really weird spread, especially, I don't know, it's because the Chargers are 1-1, even though they lost a close game to the Cowboys. Chargers at the Chiefs -7. Like I said, even though I do think the line is weird, I do like the Chiefs -7 here. It's right on the line. They did just lose to the Ravens. And I still think that the Chargers defense is really bad. I don't know what it was. I really thought the Cowboys were going to exploit that defense last week. I thought that was a big over potential in the game, but it didn't happen. So I really like the Chiefs -7 here. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs -7, a little bounce back week.
I think I'm also going to go Chiefs -7. The Chargers last week against Cowboys, they're just, I mean, that whole game, if you guys watched it, was a mess. There were flags getting thrown all over the place. I mean, nobody could really get anything going. Chargers, I love the Chargers. I think their offense is super fun to watch, but nothing seemed to really get into a flow in that game at all. So I don't think that they're really up to par to especially where the Chiefs are at, considering how good they are. So again, definitely I'm gonna take the Chiefs -7.
Yeah, Matt, that's a super good point about like the flow of the game. They really like nobody could get into anything. Like there were flags, like you said, all over the field. It felt messy. It felt like the Cowboys were like one turnover, like in a good moment, or one like lack of a pass interference call away from like blowing the game open, and it just never quite happened. So I'm not going to hold that against the Cowboys. I think that my opinion about the Chargers at the beginning of the year might have been a little wrong. I thought they were going to be better than they've looked so far, and I'm going same route with you guys. I think the Chiefs win this, like Jake said, bounce back.
Am I allowed to take over unders, or do I have to take spreads?
You can take the over under. I won't hate against that. You just can't do money line because obviously some of these underdogs are a little too big. But
Yeah.
any bet
Yeah.
that's kind of like a 50-50, it will or it won't happen, I'm okay with.
Okay. I think. I mean, Okay, I'll say this. I like Chiefs -7,
Oh,
but
is he double
my
picking?
money might no. So that would be if I were to bet on the spread, I would bet Chiefs -7.
Okay.
But my money is going on the over.
Oh,
Like Jake said, the Chargers defense shitty, and even against a good defense, the Chiefs are gonna put up at least 24 against somebody.
Yep.
So and the Justin Herbert's looked solid, so I think the Chiefs or the Chargers rather definitely get some points on the board, but I think the Chiefs run it up, honestly. Bounce back game, best team in the NFL, bouncing back. They just kind of got embarrassed. Yeah. I think it
I was
drills it over.
quick.
It's at 54
1
now.
second, Nate. I kind of what was the number is what I was going to ask.
Yeah, that was my second question.
54.5.
Okay. Let me just have like a big brain thought right now. So,
Okay.
like you were saying, you said the Chiefs score like 24 points a game, right?
Yeah.
At least, right?
At least it feels
Even in a
like-
bad week, they're going to score 24.
I don't know if that's like actual stat, but it
What do you
feels
think
like
it would be to parlay the Chiefs every single game of the entire year, 17 games, regular season, them to score over 24 points each game, every single game, all 17?
They're going to drop the ball on you one week and bust the parlay.
They might do that, but also I don't think it's a bad idea.
It's not a terrible idea.
Do that.
I don't no, you can't do that. You can't take their
Yeah.
individual games because they don't set the lines. But
like a week in advance, like a little over a week in advance. That'd be an interesting thing to go back at the end of the season and look at how many overs they hit. Or
yeah,
how many times? Excuse me, not how many overs they. How many times they went over 24? That'd be.
I'll remember this for sure.
Okay.
I'll definitely remember it.
Oh yeah.
Somebody I forget who talked about it, but they said, and I actually really like this way of thinking with the Chiefs. The higher the over under number
We're
line
higher.
is on the Chiefs, if it's above 50, you're betting the over. But if for some odd reason that over unders at like 45 or something, I'm staying away.
Yeah.
Staying away.
Vegas knows too much. That's one of
Yeah.
those situations where you just accept that you're not as smart as them.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right, let's move on to the game of the week. The Bucks are visiting the Rams in SoFi Stadium. The Bucks a -1.5 on the road. Am I an idiot for really liking Rams +1.5 this week?
Not at all.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had some guys out with COVID. I feel like everybody's talking them as the best team, especially after last week with the Chiefs losing. So the Rams didn't look the best last week, which I kind of almost like. So I'm going to take the Rams +1.5.
I'm going to tell you on that. I think at some point the Bucks are bound to drop one, and I don't think they're going to drop one against a mediocre team. They're too good to do that. They're definitely not a 16-0 team. So I think if they're going to lose one, it's going to be one of these, or lose or play close. But 1.5 is tough.
Yeah, that's
so
basically
it's
money line.
money line.
Yeah. If I had money if I had money, I would bet it on Rams money line. I wouldn't take the 1.5. I would take the extra, the boosted odds.
Yeah, get it at like +1. Yeah, one time.
Yeah, but I like the Rams here. I think, yeah, I don't know. They've looked solid. I think they'll play up to their opponent. I don't know if the Bucks will be ready to face a good-looking Matt Stafford. And I don't know. Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford have breakfast with each other every morning.
Yeah, that's a great.
I hope Robert Wood starts going to those breakfasts because he's been sucking in fantasy.
Yeah, I like the Rams as well, as I kind of alluded to, but I think I'll ride Rams here.
Matt?
I'm gonna fade. I'm taking the Bucks.
That's why you're the people's champion, Matt.
I think that we underestimated them in the Super Bowl last year. Where like all can't.
I had so much money on the Chiefs.
Exactly, and Tom Brady came out and killed it. I don't think Tom Brady is going to lose these close games like this. I think he's too good for that. And I don't think that they're going to go 6-0. Obviously, they're going to lose some games, but I think the games that they lose are going to be ones that you least expect.
Okay,
Matt's brain is so huge.
They're going to drop some for sure because it's sports. That's what happens. But I think it's going to be just a random game like the Raiders or something. I don't know if they play this year, but
to counter your close game, Tom Brady being good at those. Who's on the other team that does well in close games?
Nice. Fair enough.
Matt Stafford, the fourth quarter king, final drive king.
Yep.
Final drive king. All right, let's move on to the Sunday night game. We've got Packers versus Niners. Niners with an ugly win over the Eagles last week, 19-11, I think, or something like that, somewhere close to what that score was. It was a weird game. And then the Packers just absolutely destroying the Lions, 35-17. Don't know where I lie on this one.
Yeah, this one's hard. I was burned by 3.5 very bad last week. Every time I thought I liked a team 3.5, they ended up losing. So with that being said, I'm typing Packers right now on my computer. I'm taking the Niners -3.5.
Yeah, that's the appropriate response to getting burnt on, because just about every favorite that was like around 3.5 points last week or 4, and then the Cardinals just tanked my record last week. But I also don't care. I think this Niners team.
Yes, Nate.
I think this Niners team's solid. Now the issue is that we don't have a great
I want Packers. I want Packers. I want the Packers. No, I want the Niners. Packers.
Oh my god.
I want the Packers. I'm going back to my original thought. I can't fade my brain right now. It's moving too fast. I'm taking Packers +3.
I'm sticking with my Niners pick. The only hesitation I have is that I'm basing a lot of this on faith in players that has not completely shown itself on the field yet. They won by 8 against the Lions, won 17-11 against the Eagles. Those don't look great. Like, those aren't solid quality wins, but I still think this team's talented. Packers look solid this week for sure, but I refuse. I'm not putting stock in any Lions game for the rest of the year. I'm just refusing to do it. I'm not going to do it. The team's too weird. The team's got too many injuries. So I like the Niners. I think their talent's really solid. I like them at home. So,
okay, let's go to Matt and Clayton. What are your thoughts?
I'm taking the Pack, baby. Rodgers is back. He's done with his bullshit that he had first week. He's out for vengeance. Him and Aaron Jones are about it. And Devontae Adams, they're on a mission now that everyone's talking all that shit in the first game. They're going to come out and they're going to ruin these 49ers.
You guys, I'm in a similar situation as I was last week, where I like all your guys' reasonings, and I came in with my reasonings written down, and I got me questioning them. And last week it worked, but this week I don't know. I might stick with it.
I'm gonna go Niners here. I think the Niners are. I mean, they're being talked about as good. I wouldn't say they're sneaky, but I think they're all around a super solid team. I mean, didn't they? Yeah, they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. With basically the same team.
Yeah. Just 0 running backs.
Yeah. So, and the Packers have looked a little shaky. Aaron Jones carried them last game.
He was incredible.
Yeah, he was outstanding. I mean, it was against the Lions, like you said, Nate. You can't really put any stock against a performance against the Lions this year. But I like the Niners at home. Great atmosphere down there in San Fran. Yeah, I like them. What is it? -3.5?
-3.
-3.
Exact field goal.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. You hate.
Woof.
Yeah, you
We
hate-
might see a lot of pushes in this one.
That's
next week.
very fair.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to the Eagles and the Cowboys, the Monday night game. I will go pretty quickly here. I know I wasted some time last week with my flip-flopping or last pick. God, I'm so high. I'll go with my next pick, which is Cowboys -3.5. I like the Cowboys -3.5. I thought they kind of stalled out in a game against the Chargers. I like the Chargers more than I like the Niners. That's kind of weird, but I do. And I just think that the Cowboys win over the Chargers were more impressive than an Eagles close loss to the Niners. So I'm going to go Cowboys -3.5.
America's team, baby. Cowboys all the way -3.5. And I'm not looking back.
We got to stop giving primetime games to these Cowboys when the Spartan Dogs are on, because it's not fair that Maurer just gets to have an auto pick every time for the Cowboys. That being said, I will also take the Cowboys. We talked about it earlier. We were discussing Chargers Dallas last week, but just a weird game, lots of weird game flow. I still put a lot of stock in that close game they played against Tampa Bay. I think this is a solid team. Not saying like Super Bowl contender or anything, but I certainly think they're better than a very average to slightly below average Eagles team. And I like Dak to tear it up against this Philly D.
I'm gonna fade all the boys.
Oh no.
I'm gonna fade the boys. I like Philly. I think Philly's got a lot of potential, especially in Jalen Hurts. I think he's proved to be like making ground towards becoming a really good, solid quarterback.
Mhm.
And Cowboys a little banged up on the defensive side, if I'm not mistaken, right? I believe.
Yeah, they are.
And the only reason I like this is I feel like it's a close game. I feel like it's going to come down to a field goal. You know, the Cowboys, they always find a way to play down to their opponent and make it way too close, even if they're going to win.
True.
They find a way to fuck something up down the road late in games to at least, I don't know. I like the Eagles losing by a field goal here.
Yep.
There you go.
That sounds about perfect to me. Let's move on to our mortal locks. I lost mine in the NFL last week, picking somebody at 3.5. So, I have to go the Patriots -3 against the Saints. I just love Bill Belichick. Oh my God. Bill Belichick to absolutely exploit Jameis Winston. He is not a different quarterback. We saw it last week. I'm going Pats -3. Nate?
Yeah, I like that pick. I will be taking Pittsburgh -3 against the Bengals this week. I do not understand where this line is coming from. I get it. Pittsburgh lost to the Raiders, but like this Raiders team's shown to be really good. Derek Carr's playing out of his mind. I don't know why. I don't know if he'll keep up, but he's been playing out of his mind. I still think this Pittsburgh defense is incredible. Joe Burrow, nobody's talking about it. The dude's got 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions this season. He hasn't been great, and he's taken 10 sacks. The offensive line has not improved. They talked about it. They took Jamar Chase rather than an offensive lineman. And we're seeing the same result. This Bengals offensive line can't hang. This Pittsburgh front's incredible. Joe Mixon's looked okay, but that doesn't matter to me, honestly. This Bengals team's also inefficient on third down. I really like Pittsburgh this week.
All right, Clay.
I was my first pick was Saints +2.5, but then Jake's reasoning. Still, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I thought the Saints looked really good week 1.
No, come on, Clayton. Double down. No, double down against
me.
me.
We'll go
mortal. We'll go mortal
no,
lock
I want to too.
college and mortal lock NFL against each other.
I mean, shit. Just know in the back of your head, I'm gonna pick Saints +2.5.
Okay, I'll know
on my own. But my mortal lock this week is Colts +5.5 against the Titans. I think the Titans have really been underperforming, and the Colts are a sneaky, solid team, in my opinion. And 5.5 just feels like too much for a Titans team that's been struggling.
Yeah.
against
Me
the
and Mauer had
solid.
a Colt slander last week, and then they covered against the Rams. So
They did
they've
cover.
Yeah, they've got a solid.
proven that they're all right.
Yeah, they got a solid defense behind them. So I like them plus 5.5.
All right, Matt, and the mortal lock.
So I'm going to tie this one in with my love of the week, and I'm taking Teddy Longschlong and the Broncos minus 10.5 against the Jets.
There we go.
Wow.
Louisville.
I have them as my survivor pick this week for my NFL. So I hope
I
they
saw
win.
a crazy stat that Teddy Bridgewater had done a bunch of crazy stuff against the spread. Forget what the stat was. It looked cool to me. He's got big dick.
Yeah.
He's going to win the game.
I love all Matt's reasoning. I feel like I did a little bit of research this week and looked into some stuff, and it's probably not going to matter. Matt's reasoning of jerseys, big dicks, and stats that he can't remember is just going to absolutely overrule any actual thought that I might have put into these picks, and he will likely do better, as he demonstrated last week.
Gotta love sports.
Matt is our pick'em king. So we will continue to follow him until he wins. All right. That will wrap up this episode of the podcast. Thank you, boys, for coming on and doing another editions of the Spartans Moving Forward podcast. I think that's what I'm going to start titling it from now on when I release the episodes.
Nice.
Go green, baby.
Yes, go green.
Go white.
Thank you for coming on. Of course, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Moving Forward Pod, FWD. Posted some funny videos of Logan and Adam doing their drunk NFL combine. That's finally up on the TikTok and the Instagram. And I've been posting the clip of the day on TikTok as well. So you can go find our first clip of the day. That'll be up there at the Moving Forward Pod. And then my YouTube channel, Loth 11. I plan on doing another 2K rebuild tomorrow where I'll be controlling the Oklahoma City Thunder to try to tank for Amoni Bates. It was an idea from a friend. I hate him now, but I'll be doing that. So you can watch that on there. Probably going to post that early Saturday sometime. So until next time, peace.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows,
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
but it ain't about how hard you hit.
And I'd hit out the park, no question, with all due respect.
It's about how hard you can get hit.
And you might need, at some point in your life, a little massage on your ass.
And keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.